Hey everybody! So it cut, it froze. Our faces froze while we were filming. So we're gonna do a part two. So we started with denial, we did anger, and now we are on.
Well, before I finish anger, I want to say that it's allow yourself to feel as much anger as you need. But remember that children don't have to be angry in this relationship, and they don't have to be involved. You can hate the liver at this point, but the children don't have to hate the liver and should not. And this is something sometimes we forget in the midst of our anger or our problems.
So another tip, when you want to scream and get angry, the car is the best place to go outside, because your kids are not there. Nobody's there, and you can express yourself while driving. And it's important to express yourself because, again, it's stuck energy. So anger is a normal feeling, an emotion, and we all have it, and we all need to express it. It's how we express it and not harming anybody else. So car, best place. Okay. All right.
Third place.
Third one.
So we arrive at bargaining. So it's usually an attempt to salvage this relationship or pinpoint exactly what went wrong. The levy or the one being left may offer to change many things about themselves, thinking that it will fix the relationship, making grand promises or agreeing to certain requests in attempt to stop the divorce. In this stage can be helpful if there's a chance the relationship can be saved. So the leaver can change his mind at this point and agree to work things out. But this is not a guarantee, and most divorces still proceed.
Okay, so an example from my life, as we are on this is where I went to seek help. So I thought I was going to seek help for saving my marriage, where you're at the bargaining. I ended up starting the healing journey on my own self. So that's where it started off as trying to save my marriage, but it ended up rediscovering myself and that's where I started the journey of healing and reconnecting to myself and stuff. So it can turn into something very beautiful.
I agree. It's interesting what you said, Monica, very interesting.
No, I started doing that search. I went to therapy. I went to so many things because I thought, and this is something that many women will probably relate to, I thought there was something wrong with me. You know, it was my fault and all this, until I started seeking help and realizing, no, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just sometimes people are not connected or whatever it is. The journey takes you somewhere else. So take that step to do the work. Maybe it's to save your marriage, but maybe it's also to discover who you are and because we lose ourselves sometimes in marriages and raising kids and everything.
I agree. And it's it's a blow to our self-worth, self-esteem also. So this stage is very sensible, and we need to take care of ourselves, like you said, and seek help, seek professional help.
And also it's a stage where you feel like a failure. Like, you know, in all cultures, you have to tick the box, right? I got married, tick. You had children, tick. So you failed at this. It's like you failed as a woman kind of thing sometimes. It feels like that to your ego, your whatever. So it's that work that you do. There's no failure in anything. It's just the learning. But at the time, it feels like a failure.
Yeah, but with a culture that treats divorce as a big taboo,
Mhm.
when you're passing to it, you think you, as a woman especially, you think that your life is ending. You have no, you will start losing hope in marriage and love because you know you're a divorcee now, especially in our culture, in the Arabic country culture, the Oriental culture. Now things are changing, but you still
Oh, but
care.
at the time,
Wait,
yeah, it was very like it felt like, oh, I have to keep the secret.
shame,
This is
yes.
so shameful. But you
Mm.
know, even through all that I went through, I never lost hope on love. I believe in love. You know, I
Beautiful.
don't a mistake. I mean, it's not even a mistake. I don't believe in mistakes. I think everybody comes into your life for a purpose. And
I
my
agree.
marriage was for a purpose. And it was a great season, you know? So don't give up hope, you know?
Mm, I
Guess
agree.
what? You learn and you do better next time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. The fourth stage, we go to the fourth stage.
Yep.
So it's depression. Now we have the weight of denial, anger, and bargaining combined with the sobering reality that our marriage is over. That's the usually the most difficult stage of all because it tends to last longer than the other stages and it is typically harder to overcome. But it is a very normal stage and it usually affects both the levy and the leaver, the one who initiated the divorce and the one who is being left. Usually we have dark thoughts in it. Relationship aren't worth it. We'll never find love again. I'm not worth it. But these thoughts will pass over time. And this is where usually people seek help.
Yep. I mean, I went through it. Went through depression, big time depression. It lasted a long time. And yeah, I had to seek therapy. I mean, this was all the journey, went from bargaining to depression, and you have to find what works for you, who's the best. But yeah, it's like you have
Life
the
isn't all
breakdown.
true. And you know, like you never know what's the outcome of an event at the day of this event. So you never know what the future holds. But we tend to sometimes forget and live really in the moment of the depression. And seeking professional help usually will let us have a helicopter view, a bird eye view of what's happening. It's not the end, it's something we're passing through. And let's try to pass it as much civilized as we can for the sake of the children first.
And there's something else. So when you're divorcing, all the friendships that you had are couple friendships. Okay. So sometimes the friends pick a side, even though it could be amicable. But understand that your friends are doing the best they can. But maybe they've not been through this.
True.
And they have no clue how to support you. So don't be too upset that your friends don't understand. Best
I
to seek
totally
help
agree.
with help in support groups, therapists, coaches like the two of us. Don't try to get your family to understand. They can't. They have not
And
been through it.
as you said, support group are very important. And sometimes we lose our friend or who we thought our support group with the divorce. That's why it's very crucial to find our people. Parent, family, support group. It is very important because this is how we cope with our grief because we'll feel lonely and
And that's
alone.
it. You're going to have a loss, not just of you're not losing just the husband. You're losing maybe the in-laws that you were close to. Okay.
The whole family,
The whole family, the whole old friendships. Like there's
some
a lot of
places.
things.
You lose some places too because you cannot anymore go there. You lose some friends. You lose lots of routine. So you're
Lot of
starting
routines.
from scratch.
And your status.
And your
You lose your
status.
status, you know, there's so many things. Your home, you know,
Yep.
sometimes you have to move, a lot of the times you have to separate homes and everything. So there's so much loss.
I agree. And after depression, we have the acceptance, which is usually the final stage. And it's when the person reaches the acceptance stage, it's a sense of relief. It is accepting that the divorce that the divorce is happening and that we're grieving, and that it's okay, like you said, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay. We'll move. It's not the end of our life. Now it's in acceptance that people find their strength to move on and reclaim their life without letting divorce define them. Like we said, I'm not only a divorcee now. I am my own person. I will start building my own hobbies, my own group. Although one may feel different stages of grief, they will reach a point where they can live with these feelings and continue their lives.
Exactly. And that's when I did all the work on myself. I rebuilt my life. I found myself, if you want to say. Through the breakdown came the breakthrough and discovering everything. And for me now, tell the story to empower others. Divorce is not the end of the world.
Yep, I agree.
It might, sometimes it's the beginning of reclaiming you. So
yep, sometimes you needed to shed this feeling, this life. You needed to shed this person, this routine, to allow new experiences, new emotions, to allow your better version to shine and to be present. Now, every person lives and experiences divorce really in a different way. However, there is things that we all can do to make it a more manageable experience, and which is, like we said, allowing all feelings. All feelings are valid. Do not feel guilty if you're feeling that you're hating your spouse. You're passing maybe through the process of feeling anger, but allow your feeling. All of them are valid. Build a support group, like we said, and take time to heal. It's okay. Things will get better.
And it could happen. I mean, you could be over it a year, 4 years in, something happens and some of the feelings come back. And also when you go into a new relationship, sometimes the past starts coming through. So there's no deadline. There's no, on the 20th of June, that's it. No, grief has phases. But what we're trying to...
And the cycle can become maybe lighter and lighter, but will be there. And sometimes we tend to jump from acceptance back to anger because something triggered us, then again to depression, then back to acceptance. It's okay. So like you said, it's not, there's no time limit. There's no dates that we are all different.
And then also each phase. So let's say you decide it's over. The first stage where you're moving into a new house, that will trigger different things. Then the paperwork comes in from the lawyer and you're applying for all this, signing the paper. Then when the actual paper comes through the post saying you are actually divorced, that triggers another emotion. So every stage will have its own emotions, which you have to sit with each time. Not say, okay, I'm good, let's get up. Each time, take maybe half an hour. Once you get that paper, feel the feelings and let them go. But there's so much going on. So we just wanted to show you it's all normal.
Everything will be fine. And I wanted to ask you, Monica,
yeah, go ahead.
we're talking about now about the stages. If you wanna summarize what you learned, one big lesson you learned during your divorce process, what would you say? What would you like to share with people like really going through this phase? Like a big tip, something that really was on highlight during
Okay.
this
So for me, what I discovered was my faith. Okay. I didn't really have that much faith before. Okay, let's be clear. What's it called? I believed in God, but when I was down on the floor in the worst time of my life, asking for help and not knowing what the hell was going on and how I was going to continue, it was just saying, God, help me. And for me, that was the key. It was help me. And then I started getting the signs. That's why for me, spirituality, intuition, that's why I'm an intuition coach, because I was listening to my inner guidance. It is what saved me.
Beautiful.
Everything else was the journey, but that listening to my own voice and letting go of all the clutter to hear it was what changed my life, what got me through the dark hole, and is why I do what I do today and who I am today, because of my listening to my inner guidance.
Nice.
So faith.
Thank you for sharing.
Definitely faith.
Very, thank you for your vulnerability. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I kind of let people into a lot, but if I can help by telling my story, because some of you are at this place now.
Especially now, especially after these 2 very tough years. We are seeing much more divorces than before, much more separation. So it isn't easy, it's hard. We're all here for you. Any question, any comment, any testimonial, please do share it with us. And we'll treat the question next episode or the one before, after. We'll not forget it. And please do share with us, because you really need in this difficult time professional help.
You do. And if you think that you're going to get through this by yourself,
you may, but why reinvent the wheel? Why make it harder on yourself if someone was there or someone?
And look, there's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of everything. I mean, I did so much research. I was seeking answers, but I did go to therapy. I even went to the local, I had to go to all kinds of things to get the help I needed. You know, so there is hope.
Yeah, find who can help you.
If you want to see anyone who's been through it and come out the other side and is using it for good, there's what's it called? An example. You can do this. You can also, if the relationship is salvable with your ex-husband, you can also build a good relationship where you communicate well and raise children together. So it all depends on what your situation is, but you need to want to get better. Because really staying in the same place for too long, you're only harming yourself. So that's our episode. Next week, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, how to talk to your kids about divorce, how to say it in a way and what they will need from you to help them.
Interesting.
So, Jennifer, this was fun.
Like always.
Yeah. See you next week.
For everyone. Thank you for you, Monica. And see you next week.
See you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye. Bye.